So we speak a lot about connected consumers, but how connected are the consumers in your markets? Karen.
So the UK is really leading in Europe. Germany are relatively close behind, and then some people say France, but it's a moving piece. In the UK, consumers are very connected, and we're only going to see that grow. So lots of multi-channel shopping, hence why we have developed our own e-commerce site, so you can effectively purchase online as well as within our malls. And that sounds a little bit counterintuitive. When we first started it, we had lots of people challenging us, saying, why on earth are you attracting people to shop online? Why aren't you sending people into the malls? And we countered it by explaining that all the research demonstrates that a multi-channel or omni-channel shopper is at least 3 times more valuable to the retailer than somebody who just shops purely online or purely bricks and mortar. And actually, we can see the whole world is just shrinking in terms of retail. The issue is, how can retailers cope? Because to date, those involved in retail, it's all about, 10-year plans, it's big investment. How can we be agile enough to be able to cope with the changing world? So in terms of the UK market, to answer your question, really leading in Europe. The actual percentage of online sales in UK retail sales is still only 15%, but growing. So most retail sales in the UK still happen within bricks and mortar, but that's changing quite rapidly.
Well, what I can say is that the outlet consumers are probably the best connected consumers in the retail environment. They're in all channels, they're using all devices, they're searching for the best branded value they can get in any channel possible. So we have the challenge that the outlets are only delivering in one channel, and that's through bricks and mortars, yet our consumers are probably the purest omni-channel consumers out there. So that gives us a big dilemma. And what we normally do is leave the omni-channel development to the retailers. So the retailers and the brands are developing their e-commerce channels. They are also selling job lots of product to the likes of Zalando or Allegro or Coupi Vip or Von Privé. And those platforms are growing dramatically.
I personally don't like the very term of omni-channel if we are talking in the terms of the logistics of the goods, as I think that either you have to be basically really focused on the delivery, and that requires a fulfillability of the all assortment you have, or you have to be focused on the classic offline retailing, but of course doing a lot of things online, but that wouldn't be multi-channel in my terms.
I think China, no wonder, for many of you maybe, it's the scale of things and the speed of adoption. So everything is bigger, everything goes faster, and everything goes and shifts quite quickly, in fact. I think there's few figures to bear in mind. It's first internet penetration in China, which is hardly 50%. So that's make a whole difference, because if we consider Europe, it's more or less around 80+%. So that's one thing. And that makes, hardly 50% makes 660 million, netizens somehow. You've got pretty much 400 million people who shop online as well. And what is really impressive is the smartphone penetration that is really, getting big and very fast, to the point that we consider there's sort of saturation right now. So what does it mean in terms of e-commerce? I'm just going to refer to the latest event that took place, on 11/11. Maybe you heard of it, this big shopping day called Singles Day, whatever. and it's been the biggest. I mean, we can talk about numbers. I don't know if it makes super sense, but back a year ago, that was $9 billion that was made in 24 hours, and this time was $4.7 billion. So, and 70% of this shopping was made through mobile, whereas last year it was 43% something. So you just understand how much your business need to be really mobile friendly, mobile first. If you don't have your website, your offer, your services, I mean, that are available through mobile, and that means until payment, I mean, you just cannot make business.
The best way to understand products and services is to actually really test things quickly, get them into the market quickly, and when they don't work, you can bin them. When they do work and they get traction, you iterate from there. And it's all about learning as you go. It's all about real time. If you develop a big project and you invest a lot of money in technology and it takes you 6 months, a year to get to market, it's a huge, huge error. Don't do it, because you'll waste a lot of money. You have to do drip, drip, and constantly see what's working. So, when we first started looking at online and working with our retailers, we had some presumptions about what we thought would work. So we thought, well, buying from multiple retailers in one shopping cart, one shopping basket would be the best thing. But actually, it turned out that wasn't the best thing, and we flipped it, and we worked in a way where we could bring the individual brand experience of our retailers to our customers online by creating a added value content affiliate website. So we were bringing independent editorial and advice about products, lots of how-to features, things like that. And it was sparking the interest of visitors who were then seeing a beauty how-to and wanting to buy all the makeup there and then from different retailers. So they would click and they would purchase through to a number of different retailers immediately and still then go on their mission, their shopping mission to centre.
I think about what I've got in my outlet centres right now. I've got car park recognition systems. I've got footfall systems. I've got face recognition systems that tell me how many millennials I've got coming into my centre at any time. I've got mobile phones tracking my consumers all around the centre. I've got loyalty programs, and then I've got an app to control all of those things so that I can look at this data and try and make sense of it in the environment we're in.
We don't have stores, we have fulfillment centers, and we have pick-up and drop-off points. But our fulfillment centers are made accessible to the customer, so the cheapest and the fastest option to pick up whatever was ordered would be self-pick-up from the fulfillment center. And slightly slower one, the next morning would be picking it up from the PUDO point. So our product as being internet retailer is the very wide assortment, which generally counts like in hundreds of thousands of so-called SKUs, but making them available either today or tomorrow morning, so somewhat faster than classic internet retailing.
There's a big question mark with consumers regarding push notifications on their mobile phone, messages that are bombarding me in my own personal space. There's lots of questions around, I know you talked about in China, about social commerce. So, for retailers, there's a big challenge in terms of how they interact with consumers within social media. Actually, there is a big move away from brands trying to sell, through social media. But having said that, you're going to get things like the Google Buy button, which is going to increase penetration of e-commerce significantly. And I think you'll find that mobile commerce is going to increase tenfold. We are expecting people within our shopping centres to actually be purchasing on their mobile phone whilst they're there.
Sorry, I'm going to sound very, very old-fashioned here. We can talk about iBeacons, but we would say that well-trained staff in store with great product knowledge and interpersonal skills are the key thing for increasing conversion, sales and spend. And iBeacons, I would rather invest in my staff than in iBeacons.